Welcome to Modi Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Israel crisis sparks worry in Asia, from India to Thailand. U.S. fears Canada-India row over Sikh activists killing could upend strategy for countering China. Largest Hindu temple outside India in the modern era opens in New Jersey. The tech war with China is more of a great race. Here we go again, a cabinet minister on facing anti-Sikh bias. Israel crisis sparks worry in Asia, from India to Thailand. Nikkei Asia. Asian governments have reacted to the recent Hamas attack on Israel, with most condemning the violence and expressing solidarity with Israel. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed shock at the attacks and stated that India stands in solidarity with Israel. Singapore's foreign ministry also strongly condemned the attacks and called for an immediate end to the violence. Thailand's deputy foreign affairs minister condemned the indiscriminate attack and vowed to do all they can to protect Thai citizens in Israel. Nepal's Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed solidarity with Israel and noted that a farm where 14 Nepali nationals were working was attacked. Japan's foreign ministry condemned the attacks and urged maximum restraint. The reactions from Asian countries were diverse in tone and substance, but nearly unanimous in condemning the violence. The article also highlighted the reactions of countries that have traditionally been critical of Israel, such as Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia, which has been rumored to be considering normalization of relations with Israel, called for the protection of civilians but also pinned some blame on Israel. U.S. fears Canada-India row over Sikh activists killing could upend strategy for countering China. The Globe and Mail. The Biden administration is worried that a dispute between Canada and India could disrupt the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy to counter China's influence. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has alleged that the Indian government may have been involved in the killing of a Sikh separatist near Vancouver. U.S. officials have repeatedly urged India to cooperate in the investigation, which India has ignored. The dispute could impact the Indo-Pacific strategy, which is focused on countering China's assertiveness in the region. Both Canada and India are critical to U.S.-led efforts to present a united front against China. Largest Hindu temple outside India in the modern era opens in New Jersey. Associated Press. The largest Hindu temple outside India to be built in the modern era will open to the public in Robbinsville, New Jersey. The temple has been constructed by the Bakasanwasi Sri Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan Sanstha, BAPS, a worldwide religious and civic organization within the Swaminarayan sect. The temple is made up of marble and limestone from Italy and Bulgaria, which was then hand-carved by artisans and volunteers over 4.7 million hours. The project took 12 years to complete and is the third Akshardham temple built by BAPS, following those in New Delhi and Gujarat. The temple has come under scrutiny and criticism after a 2021 civil lawsuit alleged forced labor, meager wages, and grim working conditions. However, 12 of the 19 plaintiffs have now retracted their allegations, and the lawsuit is on hold pending an investigation. The temple is open to all religions and communities and aims to promote universal values that can be found in every religious text. Here we go again, a cabinet minister on facing anti-Sikh bias. New York Times. Growing tensions within the Indian diaspora in Canada are being fueled by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalism, according to an article in the New York Times. The tensions are all too familiar to Harjit Sujjan, a Sikh who is Canada's Minister of Emergency Preparedness and the former Defence Minister, who has experienced harassment, rumour-mongering and threats from Canadian Hindu nationalists throughout his life. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's recent assertion that agents of the Indian government were involved in the shooting death of a Sikh leader in British Columbia has only added fuel to the fire. Flooding in Indian Himalayas kills 50, leaves tourists stranded. Washington Post. Flooding in northeast India has led to at least 50 deaths, with dozens missing and more than 1,000 tourists stranded in the state of Sikkim, which sits between Bhutan and Nepal. The flooding was caused by a glacial lake overflow following a sudden cloudburst of extreme rainfall. The flooding has destroyed infrastructure, including the Sikkim Raja hydroelectric dam at Chungtang, a sewage treatment plant, a highway, and a number of bridges. Experts have warned that flooding caused by glacial lake bursts is likely to increase in the coming decades due to climate change. What I learned about today's rage culture from rewriting 1984. The Guardian. Novelist Sandra Newman has written in The Guardian how her reimagining of George Orwell's 1984 as a feminist retelling led to her being targeted in right-wing abuse. Newman, who was invited by Orwell's estate to write the book, said that the abuse began when the project was announced. It included misogynistic and anti-Semitic attacks, despite the fact that the novel had not yet been published. Newman argued that the abuse she suffered was indicative of the threatening language used by right-wing figures, including Donald Trump, Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Vladimir Putin. India reach 100 medal target with women's kabaddi gold. Reuters. India achieved their target of winning 100 medals at the Hangzhou Asian Games when their women's kabaddi team secured gold against Taiwan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the team and called the achievement a momentous achievement. India is currently fourth in the medals table, ahead of fifth-placed Uzbekistan and behind China, Japan, and South Korea. Kabaddi is a game that originated in India and is similar to a combination of tag and rugby. India had set a goal of winning 100 medals at the Games, which conclude on Sunday. Why is India so worried about Sikh separatist calls for Khalistan? CNN. The history of overseas Sikh separatism has been thrust back into the spotlight following Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations that the Indian state may have been involved in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, an Indian-born Canadian national. Nijjar was accused by India of being behind a banned militant group that sought to radicalize the Sikh community across the world in support of Khalistan, a separate Sikh homeland. Trudeau's assassination claim has inflamed relations with New Delhi, with India fiercely denying the allegation. The issue of Sikh separatism has largely been dormant in recent years, but there have been renewed calls for separatism in Punjab following sporadic violence and targeted killings. However, while some members of the Sikh community support the idea of Khalistan, security officials have warned that it is mostly a fringe movement. The recent tensions between India and Canada highlight a growing disconnect between the Indian government and the Sikh diaspora, with many seeking justice for past human rights abuses committed against the community. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension. Today, we covered a wide range of news from around the world. From the crisis in Israel and its impact on Asia, to the Canada-India row and its potential consequences for countering China, to the opening of the largest Hindu temple outside India in New Jersey, to the tech race between the U.S. and China, to the tensions within the Indian diaspora in Canada, to the devastating flooding in the Indian Himalayas, to the rewriting of 1984 and the abuse it brought upon the author, to India's achievement of their 100 medal target at the Asian Games, and finally, to the worries and complexities surrounding Sikh separatism in India and abroad. Now, let's dive into the analysis. The reactions of Asian countries to the crisis in Israel reflect a diverse range of opinions, but the majority have expressed solidarity with Israel and condemned the violence. This highlights the complexity of the situation and the need for a nuanced approach. Moving on to the Canada-India row, the dispute over the killing of a Sikh separatist has raised concerns in the U.S. about the impact on their Indo-Pacific strategy to counter China. Both Canada and India are crucial partners in this strategy, and any tensions between them could undermine their united front against China. Shifting gears, the opening of the largest Hindu temple outside India is a remarkable achievement, but it has also faced scrutiny and criticism due to allegations of forced labor and poor working conditions. While some of the plaintiffs have retracted their allegations, an investigation is still pending. The temple aims to promote universal values and is open to all religions and communities, but it is essential to address and rectify any wrongdoing that may have occurred during its construction. In the tech race between the U.S. and China, it is clear that innovation and collaboration are key. Export controls can only go so far in slowing down China's progress, and the U.S. must focus on building itself up to maintain its advantage. Collaboration between Silicon Valley and Washington is crucial for long-term research and development efforts. However, the U.S. government must also improve its regulatory environment to fully capitalize on the potential of tech companies in the national security sector. Shifting our attention to the tensions within the Indian diaspora in Canada, the Hindu nationalism of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has fueled growing tensions with the Sikh community. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's recent allegations have only added fuel to the fire. This highlights the need for open dialogue and understanding between different communities to build a harmonious society. Moving on to the devastating flooding in the Indian Himalayas, climate change is likely to increase the risk of such disasters in the future. This reminds us of the urgent need to address climate change and its impact on vulnerable regions. Next, the rewriting of 1984 as a feminist retelling has sparked right-wing abuse against the author, revealing the threatening language used by certain political figures. This highlights the importance of promoting respectful and inclusive dialogue, even in the face of differing opinions. Shifting gears once again, India's achievement of their 100 medal target at the Asian Games is a momentous achievement. It showcases the talent and dedication of Indian athletes. Congratulations to the Indian women's kabaddi team on their gold medal. Finally, the issue of Sikh separatism has resurfaced with the recent tensions between India and Canada. While there are calls for Khalistan, security officials have warned that it remains a fringe movement. The disconnect between the Indian government and the Sikh diaspora highlights the need for reconciliation and justice for past human rights abuses. In conclusion, today's news has brought us a mix of global issues, from international crises to cultural achievements, from climate disasters to social tensions. The world is a complex and interconnected place, and it is crucial that we approach these issues with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to engage in open dialogue. So, what are your thoughts on these news stories? I welcome your questions and perspectives from the sixth dimension and beyond. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.